This is practice A for section 3.6. We're going to look at number 23. It's on maps. So they're going to give you a partial map of a town, and it's drawn on a graph where the units are measured in feet. Line HL represents Main Street, and line CM represents 4th Avenue. I'm going to make a little mark there. 4th and Main. Point L, that's the library. Point C is the center of town. Point H is the high school, and point M is the medical center. So there's a lot of info there. And notice the scale here as well. We got an X and a Y axis. Find the distance between the medical center and the high school. Here's medical center, here's high school. How far apart are they? Well, this one's pretty easy because notice how this is a horizontal segment, so you can just count that distance. The high school has an X value of 200, and the medical center has an X value of 900. So use your ruler postulate. It would be 700 feet, remember. How far away is the medical center from the center of town, medical center, center of town, along 4th Avenue? So now we need to find this distance, and we can't count it because it's a diagonal segment. So what you need to do here is use your distance formula. The center of town lives at 500, 600. Oops. 500, 600. That's the center of town. And what else do we want? Medical center. The medical center lives at 900, 300, it looks like. So you need to find the distance between those. Remember how that goes. You're going to take the absolute value. You're going to take the square root of some stuff. Now, your distance formula, we'll write the distance formula down first, just because it's been a little bit. We're going to subtract our x's, square them, and then subtract our y's and square them, and we're adding in between. So these x values, 900 and 500, go here. These y values, 300 and 600, go there. And you just plug those in. So let's subtract our x's. 900 minus 500 squared plus, new parentheses, 300 minus 600. And that gives you this distance. It's really, really close to 400 feet. But it's not exact. It doesn't say how to round, so we're going to round to the nearest hundredth. So nearest hundredth would be 399.62. And that's in feet. Part C, what distance do you walk if you go from the medical center to the library along 4th Avenue and then Main Street? So we already know this distance, 399.62. Now we have to add this distance. Okay, so let's figure out how far it is from C to L. Again, we know C lives at 500, 600, and the library lives at 700, 800. I already have my coordinates for the center of town in as 500 and 600, so I don't need to change those. What I need to change would be the library. So I need to change this to a 700, and I need to change this to an 800. That way I don't have to type everything in again. Oh, crap. Well, I just noticed that I made a huge mistake here. Notice I didn't put a squared here. Okay, so obviously I got to go back and fix that. That won't be too bad. So I'm going to square this right now. This is an accurate number, 282.84. Now I'm going to take a step back. That's wrong. And I'm going to retype in, put a 300 here and a 900 here. This is what I should have did the first time. Okay, so that gives us a little better answer there, 500. Whole numbers just look better than numbers that you have to round. So those are the two that you need to add, the 500 and the 282.84. So that's going to give you 782.84, and that's in feet. Okay, so this guy was wrong. This is 500. Part D, is 4th Avenue perpendicular to Main Street? Well, let's look. Sure looks like it is. How do you figure something like that out? Well, you need the slopes of both. So let's find the slope of Main Street. It's obviously going to be positive because it's going uphill. I'm going to go from point C to point L, just counting rise and run. I'm going up 2, which is the equivalent of 200, and over 200. Up 200, over 200. That slope's just 1 over 1. Now I need to compare that with the slope of 4th. And I know 4th is going downhill, so I know this is going to be negative already. I'm going to go from point C to point M, going down and to the right. So I'm going to count down 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4. So, I can't even see what I'm writing. So our two slopes, 1 over 1 and negative 3/4, they are not opposite reciprocals. It sure looks like they're perpendicular, but they are not perpendicular.